I have discovered a secret psychological trick to make achieving financial independence easier and faster. Make it a game. Hello everyone, my name is Zach and welcome to On Cashflow, where I help you become a master of your own cash flow. Now let's get started. How to gamify financial independence, early retirement. Well, you just simply have to add elements of a game to your F.I.R.E journey. One that I like to do is to take a large goal, like financial independence, and break it down into smaller goals. I like to take, let's say, a time frame. I can break it down into yearly goals. I can break it down into semi-annual goals. I can break it down into quarterly goals, into monthly goals, into weekly goals, and then even daily goals. Another great way to gamify financial independence is to make it visual. The power of the visual, the power of having these graphs and having data and all this cool little stuff to look at, right? It's very, very mesmerizing, but in a good way. And it's also very motivating, especially when you can translate that into this is your actual progress. Because just like in a game, you can gain points, you can unlock achievements, and you can reach different levels. Now, I want to share the tools that I personally use in order to gamify financial independence and make it a lot easier. I'm going to share those tools with you at the end of this video, so please make sure you stay to the end. Let's get on to one of the most important components of gamifying financial independence, and that is tracking your progress. You have to track your progress. Just like with any game or pretty much a lot of things in life, you could see that little loading bar or a little progress bar, and it's so motivating, right? It goes from 1% and it's getting up there. It's almost at 100%. How cool is that? It's really nice. It's very visual, and you love looking at it, and you know it. Because believe it or not, progress is often much more rewarding than actually reaching the end goal. It's very satisfying to see that progress goal. Maybe it's like a little green bar going up and it's getting closer to that 100%, and it's really nice. You love it as it goes up and up and up, and then it reaches that 100% and it's done, and you're like, well, that was nice. But the actual progress was probably a lot better than actually getting to the end result. And it's the same with financial independence. You gotta enjoy the journey. One way that you could be measuring your progress is you could be tracking your net worth. Because generally, if you are saving for financial independence, then you're going to be building your net worth. Your net worth is going to be getting higher. And it is very motivating if you are able to see that on a nice little graph. And if you can see your net worth just, climbing up over time. And of course, it's going to have dips. It's going to have valleys and all that stuff. It's going to go down, especially if you're investing in stocks, if you're investing in bonds or any other kind of partially volatile asset. But over time, it's probably going to be going up, especially if you are saving a significant portion of your income. And that can be very motivating to just see that progress. Another thing that can be very motivating to see, especially when it comes to progress, is the income, your income progress. You can actually set a goal for how much income you want to make this year. And it can just be the goal that what you were going to make from your regular job anyway. But just looking at that income and seeing it go up, seeing the number go up, seeing the little chart look really beautiful there, it can be very motivating. And so I think you should definitely be tracking your income as well. You need to know how much income you have coming in. And if you can make it visual, it's even better. Similar to that, you probably are going to have a budget. You're probably going to want to set a spending goal, right? You're like, well, I want to spend about this much, maybe not too much more than that. And what you can do is you can actually set a goal where you can make it visual and you can track your spending and you can see how close that spending is getting to your goal, right? So in this case, you want it to about, get close to that goal, maybe only slightly over is okay, but you don't want it to just you don't want it to explode out of the progress bar. You don't want that progress bar to fill up over 100% and be like 150% or something like that, right? In that case, you want it to slowly fill up, but you want to keep it under, maybe that certain target range. And some personal finance programs can even do this to where they show you like on a monthly basis how much you're reaching your annual goal. So you can see your annual and you can see how much it is for this month. Like in the month of January, February, March, how close are you reaching that annual goal if you divided it by 12? Stuff like that is really cool. It's very visual. It's very nice to track. And by the way, what I personally use right now for all my financial tracking is I use Personal Capital. And if you haven't used Personal Capital, I hope that you check it out at the end of this video. But getting on to the next point of winning the game of financial independence, think about what many games have, right? They have levels, right? Level 1, level 2, all the way to level 10, and then you beat the game, right? Financial independence is pretty much no different. You can have levels of financial independence, and those can be goals for you along the way. There are many different levels that people have made up, and in a good way, they've made up to say, like, this is level 1 of financial independence, and this is level 10, yada, yada, yada. And you can break it down any way that you want to break it down. But there are like 7 main ones. I almost said 6, that I've pretty much said these are like the main financial independence levels that you should be concerned about. First, you have Coast-Fi, coasting financial independence. And this is where you have enough to retire at a normal retirement age by using your existing investments and allowing them to just compound growth over time. And then once you reach that retirement age, they should be large enough to support a regular retirement for you. Then you have flexible financial independence, or Flex-Fi. FlexFi is basically where you reach the point where you can withdraw about 5% of your starting portfolio value and live off of that. But if there's something that really bad happens to the stock market and you need to basically lower your withdrawals, you're okay with going back to work and supplementing your income that way. If the market is doing poorly, you have to be flexible enough to go back to work or earn some other income some other way. And then the next level is LeanFi. So it uses a 4% starting initial portfolio value, but your total expenses are very low, generally considered to be below one standard deviation of the median spending. So if the median spending is $50,000, LeanFi would be considered, something very below that, maybe $45,000 and lower. And of course, this depends on your area of where you're living and the cost of living. And then the next level after LeanFi is NomadFi. So NomadFi, I guess, would generally considered to be using 4% as well, but you have a strong currency where you're from. And what you do is you take that 4% withdrawal rate, and it could be even the same level of lean financial independence, except you go and you spend a lot of time in low cost of living countries because you can have a very high quality of life on the same amount of spending there because the local cost of living is very, very low. And so you could spend that same, let's say $30,000 per year in a low cost of living country, and you could live like you're spending $100,000 per year in the United States or even more, just depending on where you go. And then after that, the next level is barista financial independence. So BaristaFi is where, again, going to be using a 4% or lower withdrawal rate, but you are also going to be working in addition to using a withdrawal rate. And you're generally not going to be working full time. You're generally going to be working part-time, or you're going to have your own business or something like that where you can work when you want to work. And the reason why BaristaFi is one leg up on this, even though you are still working, is because you're probably going to be spending a lot more total annually if you are BaristaFi versus if you're LeanFi or if you're NomadFi. And then after BaristaFi, we have regular financial independence, which is a 4% withdrawal rate or less, but you're generally spending around the median plus or minus one standard deviation. So let's say if the median spending was $50,000, then if you're spending $50,000 or maybe $45,000 or maybe $60,000, somewhere around there, then you're probably just regular financial independence. And again, it depends on where you live. And last but certainly not least is fat financial independence. And this is basically where you have a 4% withdrawal rate or less, but you are spending a lot more than the median household income, right? Especially for the area that you're living in. So if the median income in your area is $50,000, but you want to spend $100,000 per year and you have the investments to support that, then fat financial independence it is. Now, I explained those levels of financial independence very, very quickly, but don't worry, I do have a whole nother video where I go a lot more in depth and explain those exact financial independence levels. So if you're interested in that video, make sure you look for it on my channel. Now, I want to go back to a very important component of games, and that is visualization. Many games are built upon visuals, right? So we play them because they're very visually stimulating. But something similar can be applied to your financial independence journey. I want you to have as many, nice visualizations as possible. And so what would be ideal is that if you could take pretty much all components of your personal finances and you can make them visual in some way, especially visually pleasing. And this can go overboard. There can be too much information. Like if you look at like a regular stock market site and there's a graph over here and there's, a ticker down here and there's all these kinds of things flashing and, red and green and black and all this kind of stuff, all these different colors, and it can be very overly stimulating. So you want something to be visually pleasing, but you also want it to be very nicely laid out. And so this might sound a little bit silly, but this is part of the reason why I switched my investment brokers. So I used to use Fidelity Investments, and I'm not saying anything bad about them, but their layout on there is very crowded and the visual is just not very good for me. This is a very small reason and a minor reason why I switched to M1 Finance. Well, they just call themselves M1 now, but at the time it was M1 Finance. But M1 is where I have all my investments now. So if you ever watch any of my videos and I point to my own portfolio, you're going to see a screenshot of M1. And that small reason why is the visualization and the layout of M1 in general. It is very visually pleasing. You can see all of your investments in there all in one place, and the visual is very, very good. And speaking of visuals, one thing that I know that you can see right now is that like button right there at the bottom of the video. If you're enjoying this video so far, please make sure you hit that like button. It really does help me out, and I would really appreciate that. And it's very visually stimulating when you hit the like button because it makes that little, a little animation. Okay, but seriously, another component of gaming that you can apply to financial independence is collaboration. Collaboration, playing as a team, team player, yada, yada, yada. Collaboration is something that you could involve in your own financial independence journey. You want to get people on your team, people who are going to be supportive, people who are going to be along the journey with you, people who maybe want to improve their own financial lives, and you can do it together and hold each other accountable. And you can do this in many different ways, by the way, and I've done it in many different ways over my entire journey. So you can join, online forums, you can join online groups, maybe like a Facebook group or something like that. You could go in person to your friends and family and try to do something with them, or you can go to someone and get some advice, maybe something from an outside perspective. You can go to a financial advisor, you can go to a tax accountant, or you can just go to Joe Schmo down the street. You can call me Joe Schmo because I have helped people in the past on cashflow.com/consult if you're interested, by the way. With all this talk about gaming, financial independence, playing the game and winning the game. This leads me to the big question here. I want to know from you in the comments below. What do you think about this whole philosophy of turning your financial life into a game? Do you think that it's a good idea or a bad idea, or are you pretty neutral on it? Please let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear what you have to say. And now I've saved the best for last, because when you're playing a game, there are some elements that you can control and some that you cannot control, right? There are some things in the game that they're just the way they are and you have to play around them. And there are some things in the game where you can actually make a difference, or you can actually influence, or you can actually put in the work and change in the game. The same thing applies to real life. For the most part, you want to let go of those things that are out of your control, and you want to take control of the things that are within your realm of control. Some things that are out of your control, you can pretty much do nothing about. You can't control how much things cost. You can't control the inflation rate. You can't control how your investments perform, especially if you're investing in the stock market or in bonds and things like that. You can't control the overall economy. You can't control the business cycle. You can't control what the unemployment rate is going to be. You can't control what the interest rates are. You can't control what tax rates are, right? All of these things that a lot of people are always worried about, that they're always, nitpicking about. These are things that are, not within your realm of control. You can't control these macroeconomic things. So try not to worry about them too much and try to work around them when you're creating your financial independence plan. And now the fun part, there are things that are within your realm of control. You have control pretty much over how much you spend within reason. You have control over how much you save within reason. You have control over how much you invest every month within reason. You have control over what you invest in, right? Whether you choose stocks, bonds, real estate, or anything else. And of course, you have control over how much you can earn within reason. All of those things are factors that you have more control over than the previous ones that I mentioned. So focus more on the things that you can control and less on the things that are out of your control. And do keep in mind, one thing that is within your control is the tools that you use to achieve financial independence. Are you ready to win the game of financial independence? Then check out the tools and resources that I personally use, that I have used on my journey to financial independence, and the ones that I continue to use today while living my financial independence life. If you're interested in checking out some of those tools that I've shown you in this video today, just go to oncashflow.com/resources, and you can go on there. You can see some of the tools that I've used in this video today, such as personal capital, new retirement, and M1, and all them goodies. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Zach from oncashflow.com, and I hope to see you next time. You're probably going to want to where it shows you like on a monthly basis. There are 7 main ones that I have kind of come to